What's up, guys? So in an effort to fix my issues from last week, with it taking forever to light up the turbos and get spooled up without the blower. So this is the old turbo, the S475. Good solid turbo, but too big for this particular setup, and you know, it's circa 1982 technology. So got it with Jose forced inductions. Got a pair of these. Another Borg Warner, so I've had good luck with Borg stuff. S369 SXE with the FI compressor and compressor housing. Supposedly good for a couple hundred extra over the normal thing, but you know, these should light up pretty quick. Should be a lot better. If it's not, I'm gonna be kind of disappointed, but that's how it goes. I think it'll be just right. Anyway, to fit this, I'm also going to go back to my smaller wastegates. Those are the 50mm JGS, and luckily I already had a different elbow piece already fabricated, so I just swapped those over. You know, the other one's the 66mm Precision, which is a beast of a wastegate, 2.5-inch pipe, whereas the 50mm uses a 2-inch pipe. Anyway, got those built already also from before. But I'm hoping these are a little bit more responsive, a little bit better control with the smaller turbos. So we'll see. But fitting it wise, it's obviously a much smaller compressor housing than the S475. And so the obvious first problem is instead of the 3-inch V-band, it's a 2.5-inch slip joint. So we got to take up that distance somehow. If I move the intercooler up to better fit, then I have to redo, you know, the big Y pipe centerpiece here, which I want to do anyway to make it a little bit cleaner, but I don't want to do it right now. So we might just make it work in the meantime, or I'll come up with something. Second part is the downpipe. This is a S300, you know, 3.5-inch outlet, and so the other one had the 4-inch outlet. I'm going to do this out of order, but I already cut the downpipe, the old one, off, so I need to fabricate new end, you know, to get the angle right, get it to mate up. That looks pretty close, to be honest with you. Don't think that'll be too bad, but it's just part of it. Downpipes, wastegates, intercooler, changing up the oil feed a little bit to maybe be a little bit better. And hopefully go race this weekend. Alright, so testing out a new mic too, so hoping this picks up better. My other one was cutting out. So working on redoing my downpipe to fit the new turbos. So just cut this off. This is for the old one. This is a 4-inch to 3.5-inch piece. The new one will just be straight 3.5, so need to get rid of this, need to move it around some, and hopefully it doesn't suck. Ideally you'd be working with a nice bandsaw or something, but I have a bandsaw, but it sucks, so I'm gonna stick with the chop saw here, and doesn't do a terrible job if you take your time, you know, but we'll see. Got a little close-up action of a new turbo, or the old one. Quite a big size difference. So the new one is the 69mm compressor, old one's a 75mm. Turbine side, old one turbine's 83mm. The new one is the 79, I think. I'm pretty sure the S475 had the 1.0 housing. Not sure actually. There it is. This one is a 88.88 AR turbine housing. So that will be much easier to work with than the V-band flange. So I'll probably end up reusing the S475 on a different project anyway. So not getting rid of them. Just need something a little bit better. And also, I wanted to show the size difference for the wastegate. So this is the JGS 50mm gate. So pretty decent sized wastegate. And this bad boy is the 66 Precision. So you can see kind of how ridiculous that is. And the reason for that is with the compound setup, you know, a blower at 10 PSI on top of a 400-inch motor, you know, kind of acts like a 600-inch engine, right? So it needs a lot of wastegate. So I had a really bad boost creep problem. Trying to keep it under 30 pounds total with it compounded with the blower and the turbos. So even with these 50 gates wide open, you know, good placement too. You know, here's was the thing I used. So I mean, it's right in the flow path. Even with them wide open, the boost would still creep up. So I had to go to a bigger gate to make it work. And now we can go back down to a smaller one. So I haven't compared in person a S300 to an S400 side by side before, but I figured this would be a good time to photograph it, see what it looks like. So like I said, this is the 79mm turbine for the S300. This is the 83 for the S475. The bearing housing is obviously much smaller on the S300. The drain and feed sizes are the same size, so that's nice. Both 1/4 inch NPT. Weight-wise, this probably weighs, I don't know, 20 pounds, 22 pounds. S300 much lighter. This weighs 10, 12 maybe. So I don't know if it'd matter too much to you, but it's something to think about. Also notice the turbine nut is a lot smaller on the S300. It's a bit more aerodynamic, but who knows. And also the turbine housings. So this is the wastegate installed. You know, just kind of shows you the difference. So 3.5 inch outlet. That's a 4 on there. But the turbine housing is much thinner. I don't know if I ever showed it or not, but this is the driver's side, obviously. All the stuff. Everybody likes to make fun of my gauges, but just kind of show you what's going on. So, factory O2 sensor, narrowband. This is the EGT sensor here, which is just, it's kind of interesting to keep an eye on that. Then at the bottom, I have a pressure, what's an MPT tap to a copper hose going up to, you can see it, pressure sensor there. I did just have it hooked to a gauge, but the sensor, so I can record it through the ECU, is more helpful than just a gauge to look at, especially for racing where everything happens too fast to really look at anything. Yeah, just thought I'd show what this looks like. Oh, and so if you run a twin setup, you'll probably kill a lot of batteries. I know I did. And so making this little aluminum shield was a very good thing I did. It really helps extend the battery life and keep them from getting overheated and having to be replaced. So I'm working on getting the cold side done up and fixed, and this side turned out to be pretty easy. All I had to do was cut out more of the frame on the bottom, kind of rotate it backwards so I can rotate the turbo over a little bit further, because it's you know, it's a little bit smaller than the other one, so I got some more room to the battery there. So that side's pretty easy. Hard to tell, but it lines up, you know. So all I have to do is put the coupler on it. This side a little bit more challenging, because I really needed the turbo to kind of stay in the same spot, so I'm gonna have to raise it up a little bit and had to redo this. And I just want to point out that this intake pipe kind of looks like shit right now. Like, I've cut it, re-welded it, cut it again, re-welded it again, like 3 or 4 times now. And yeah, I could redo the whole thing and make it look nicer, but you know, why? You know, you never see it, and yeah, I'd rather go racing than, you know, obsess over, I don't know, details that don't necessarily make me happy, you know. So I'd rather enjoy the thing go use it than compare myself to everybody on Instagram. So hopefully I'll be finished with the cold side here soon, then redo the downpipes. Alright, so didn't make the race this weekend, but I want to go over a couple things that I've been working on in the meantime. Got the cold side pretty much finished. Yeah, not a whole lot to say about that, but the trouble with doing something like this is as soon as you move one thing, like 3 or 4 other things are going to have to move. So for instance, this one I brought up 2 inches, but that changes the angle here, and so I had to redo this part, but then that also changes this angle, and because I didn't raise this side up, like I can't really, because this whole thing would have to rotate to be able to fit the compressor housing. And so I think this will be good enough. You know, I got a little clamp thing that'll be good enough. It's just always takes longer than you think it will. Got the old wastegates up. Good thing is, because I didn't move this intercooler, this wastegate dump tube is works fine. Didn't have to modify it at all. Don't know if you can see it, but it goes down in there and it's pretty tight. Everything in here is tight. Got the new crank pulley on, Innovators West, standard diameter. Wasn't too bad. If you don't have one of the pulley tools from Tyler Scruggs, get one. Like the install tools, they put on the balancer a lot easier. Highly recommend it. Also printed up this cover so when I trailer it, you know, can block off the compressor wheel, keep it from spinning. Just a simple 3D print. I'll probably modify it a little bit, but works pretty well. What I'm working on now though is, because I had to raise this intercooler, my old dump tube doesn't fit. So I had this, the way it was situated was I had the wastegate pointed down and it basically went down and behind. Problem now is though, since this is higher, it hits right here, you know, so I can't rotate it down because it's right there. So that's not going to work, unfortunately. This is 2-inch stainless tubing, and I only had about a 6-inch piece of it left, and I really need a 90-degree bend. You know, see if I can show you. So I needed to go something like this, so I can get a better shot. Something like this, and I need a 90 to do it. So I'm gonna pause for a second and go show you. Before I pause though, I got the downpipes finished up. Hope it fits. You know, we'll see. So the best way to do this would have been to buy like another 90-degree pre-bent piece like this, but it's Thursday and I'd like to go race this weekend again. That's the plan. So all I had was this. It's about 8 inches, I guess, when I started. Managed to get three pie cuts out of it that I'm going to use to make hopefully enough bend, you know, to put it where I need it. I'm not really one of those huge pie cut guys. I think it's kind of wasteful and usually unnecessary, but in this case it's all I have to work with, so we're gonna have to make it work. All right, well, that turned out to be a little easier than expected. Turns out I just needed the one piece in here to it's got an angle on one end, it's flat on the other, enough to be able to move it around. And so it's nice being on a V-band because you can twist it as you need up this way. But like this, I can clear the intercooler, and I can also get it pointed down and have some clearance to the frame. So I just got it tacked in place right now, and looks like it'll work. Easier than I thought it was. All right, and we're all done welding up the rest of the dump pipe. I forgot to do the video when I was welding it or before. But remember, if you're not a great TIG welder, exhaust wrap is your friend. So I just want to point out that if you do a lot of stainless stuff, or really any stainless stuff, these little plugs by Tycon TIG Aesthetics are great. Like, they make back purging so much easier. They just like fit into the tube, you know, like that. On the inside, they have a little screen, acts as a diffuser for the. So they have little pipes with them that hooks up to your purge line in there. But these make it so much easier. I used to mess with aluminum foil, and that was a huge mess. And I got like the whole pack of them for a bunch of different sizes, and this one's the 4-inch, and it's got basically every size. You don't have to get all these, but if you do enough stainless work to worry about back purging stuff, then I would look into it, because I love these things. They make it a whole lot easier. All right, let's throw this thing on. All right, working on getting everything hooked up and coming along. Got the dump situated in there. Looks nice, does what I need it to. But so I decided to check the springs on the wastegates since I hadn't used these in a while, just to make sure. I hate the snap rings on these JGS gates. Like, they're nice gates, but if you're gonna buy them, get the race version that has the V-band right here instead of the stupid snap ring. That thing sucks. Anyway, a problem with these that I wanted to point out was these two fittings right here thread into the body of the wastegate. And so what'll happen is if you thread these in too far, it will actually catch on the piston, and that's what happened right here. Like, this piston should fly free of the case here. Like, it's still spring loaded. The spring's trying to push this thing out, but it caught on that fitting. You can see it in there. So I need to back out that fitting a little bit to make sure the piston can move. And that kind of has me wondering if that wasn't part of my issue before when I had these on the compound set up. So I had a major boost creep problem, and if the piston can't move, then obviously the valve can't work right. So kind of has me thinking now. All right, so just took it off so I can show you guys. So you can see right there where it was catching on the piston right here. And so what you want to look for is that you want it to be a little bit, you know, you don't want it to protrude out into where the piston goes. You want it to be flush with the case or slightly out. So I did that because I wanted these to point the same direction. The top one obviously doesn't matter down in there, but the bottom one, you know, you don't want it too far. So I debated sharing this or not, so I'm getting it buttoned up. Almost finished. Got everything about done. But I got a little suspicious. That passenger turbo looked pretty high, so... And of course... yeah, it's hitting the hood, so... Now we get to see if we can fix it. Fuck. Alright, so I've emotionally recovered from that incident. Ended up rotating the turbo probably another 30-40 degrees over this way, so the whole thing kind of sits down lower. Might end up being a little bit more symmetrical anyway, so not a terrible thing. It's just I just hated having to redo stuff, so I redid this side of the intake pipe, and I don't have the intercooler mounted yet. It's just hanging from the turbo, but I think the fit up is actually going to be better than it was before, so maybe it worked out well for the best. It just sucks thinking you're almost finished, then having to cut it apart and redo it at 2 in the morning. But I think the downpipe is still going to work, so I don't think I'll have to modify that. The wastegate should work, so hopefully we're almost done. Hopefully it doesn't blow up.